But he's also a very, very good judge and gives helpful comments and suggestions. He's done many of our competitions. He did our best of year. He was also the judge for the inter-community competition last year, I believe it was. So he's been around. We know him and he knows us. So it should be a good evening. It'll be a rather quick one tonight. We only have 61 total entries. 42 in the A's and only 14 in the B's. So hopefully we'll get some B's, more B's participating in getting into the competition.
Yes.
So just the only announcement I have is we're going to be changing the display in the our room, our arts and not the arts and crafts, in the all-purpose room.
Let's call it. It's a gallery. That's what it is.
The gallery. Yes, the formal gallery.
Yes.
And it's going to be a little different format this time. The outside 8 pictures are going to be the competition winners. So the entire back row, which we split up, will be open for anybody.
I thought those were going to be.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No,
those are going to be the honorable mentions. Yes. They're going to go back there.
Right. What about the side walls? You still have.
Now that's coming up next. So that's the back wall. So if you have any competition awards, whether it be first, second, third, or honorable mention, they're going to be up. So please frame them and get them in hopefully by next week, by the 15th.
That's from the last contest. Yeah.
Yes, from the open contest.
Right.
I have most of the pictures in. There are a few people that haven't submitted them yet. Now, the other display that we have are the side walls, and there's 9, I believe.
Oh no, there's 6 and 4. I think there's 10. There's 6 on one wall and 4 on the other.
Okay. Those are open to any members who want to post any pictures they have. It could be contest winners. It could be something that they like. They're just open without a theme. So if you would like to put 1 or 2 in, you're welcome to.
Can I put my bar mitzvah picture?
Your bar mitzvah picture?
Sure.
Sure. Right. So that's what's coming up, and we'll let you know when those are due.
Good. Okay.
Okay, at this point, I'm going to mute everybody. I'm going to ask Robert to unmute himself. This is a soft mute, so you could always unmute yourselves. Okay. What we're going to start with this time is going to be the open. Let me get it down to it. The open B, which is 16 pictures. A fun photo from a cruise trip.
Just to refresh my memory, you have 2 competition levels. You have the B and the A group. I guess the A is like the salon and advanced group, and B are the beginners, correct?
Beginner to intermediate, yes.
Just correct. Excuse me for 1 second. I'm sorry to interrupt. Robert, we're going to be recording this, if it's okay with you.
Sure.
Actually, I assume because we've done that in the past with you. We've had you so many times.
Well,
it's fine.
It's in my contract that I have to ask. Okay, I'm gone.
I think it's really a creative image for, in the especially the beginner category. Like you saw this piece of art over there, and you decided to make it like more of a candid snapshot with a family member, I assume, in there. And you added some treatment to it. It doesn't look like a straight out of camera photograph. It looks, somewhat edited to kind of make it a little more interesting, and has a story to tell. So I like it, and we will keep that one in.
Castle PN The Hill.
I like that you saw this beautiful castle, and I've never seen it before. I have no idea where it is. Of course, it will be, I think, in Europe somewhere, some old castle up there on top of the hill. And you try to, maybe include those trees on the left and on the bottom as kind of a frame, right? But when you look at it, and the focus is fine, and the exposure is fine, and the images are sharp. But when you look at it, it's like, I got that little leaf on the top in the middle that's coming down, and you can fix that after you get home on the computer. You can have a member here in the club. If you don't know how to fix it easily with one click, make that little triangle disappear. Somebody will show you. But the bigger problem is that that tower on the left side of the castle is now covered up by those leaves, right? And I don't know what it looked like where you were. Maybe you were on a boat, maybe it was on a river, maybe you were on a bus going by, and you couldn't walk further to the right. But in the future, think about, having a cleaner composition. Think about, what can I do to have no distractions in there? What can I do so that those leaves do not cover up part of the building that's really important for the picture? It's really important for my friends and my family and for me to look at. And unfortunately, that's covered up and really hurts the image. Now, what you could have done, you probably could have cropped differently too. If you crop out like all those leaves on the left side, you put your hand over your screen, and just start with that, building that's to the right of the tower. Then you would have gotten rid of the distraction a different way and still give us, good amount of the castle. I think it needs a lot of work that way. Different composition would have helped a lot. But those leaves, grapevines, whatever they are, they really hurt your composition there. We'll take that one out.
Snowy egret.
I like that you got close to that snowy egret, and I think for that harsh light in the middle of the day, we can tell by the shadow that the egret casts and by that big difference between the shadows and the bright spots on the egret, that the light was not the best. It was not early morning light. It was not late afternoon light. It was that harsh time of the day. But you handled it well, right? There's only a little bit of that bird that's very, very white. And I don't even think you lose much of the detail in there. And we can see in the shadows the feathers, like maybe you pulled up that shadow slide a little bit to make that more visible. So that works out really well. I like it also that we don't have that horizon line cutting across the bird's head. That would be bad. It's just above. So we have, the bird kind of like with the water as the background. And you could argue to maybe to have a stronger image if you got much lower and the head would be above the water in the sky or not. So that's different ways to compose it, and then you can go home and look at it and see which one you like better. But this one works for me. The one thing that you should look out for, and again, anybody in the camera club can show you that, how to fix that ocean, how to fix that horizon line with just one click. Because right now it looks like the water is flowing out of the right side of your image, of your frame, because it's just, the horizon is just a little crooked. Like if I measure the left side of the frame and hold my pen up there and then go to the right side, it seems like there's a little crooked. But it's minor, and in the beginner group, you can learn how to fix that. But overall, we'll keep that image in because I think you handle it quite well. And kudos for getting close to that bird too.
Row houses in Old Alexandria.
I like that you have that diagonal line in of those row houses that take me into the distance, right? So from the composition, that was really nicely done. And I like that you included, that full window that's to that left side. You didn't cut off that window. Would be kind of sad if only half that window was visible, that nice big one. And we have those stairs going up. I like that too. It gives me a sense of the place. We start exploring the image from the lower left and go through it. And I feel like I am on the street, on the sidewalk, and I could walk on it. So it gives me a sense of the place where you were. And the only thing that maybe you want to, look into, when you shoot a similar situation in the future again, right? The sky, nothing we can do about it. It was a blue sky day when you're there, right? So a sunset, clouds would always help, or sunrise, something dramatic in the sky would help. And then see where that sidewalk leads us to. And right now we have, like, I believe 2 people dressed in dark clothing that walk away from us. So that's not that much interest. I personally, for my Iceland trip, bought myself a red jacket so I can photobomb all those pictures that my group members want to take, because it adds more interest, like something red or something yellow in there. And again, you were there at the time to take a photo, and those people were walking there. But if you have more time to plan, and if you have a friend with you and the sidewalk is empty, maybe you tell them, like, hey, can you walk down the sidewalk and walk towards me? And can you wear something maybe brighter? And then we have an additional interest in there. But we'll keep it in. I think it was nicely composed with that leading line.
The Navesink River behind Rumsford Barnacle Bill's restaurant.
I think you made an interesting choice here by, taking that selective color and just keeping the yellow of the building and the lights in there and turning everything into black and white. As the viewer, it draws me into your image. So I think for that, that was a nice choice that you made to show something different. I'm struggling a little bit with the fact that the right side of the building is not included. I wish we had more of that in there. I wish there would be, that last corner of the building in there. And maybe I wish there would be more of that, I guess that boardwalk or whatever you want to call it, that pier, that brings me back to the land in there as well. Maybe that's a personal choice. Maybe you could have positioned yourself differently to include more. Maybe you couldn't include more because of a limitation that your lens had. Maybe you don't have a really wide angle lens, would you, to get me that wider shot. But I think that would have made maybe a better image, a stronger image to include more. And when you're out there shooting with a zoom lens, I always tell people, like, shoot a little wider than you need, because you can always crop at home. You can always take away. And okay, nowadays you can add to it with generative fill and some of those tools in Photoshop, but it's a little bit of cheating that, I don't like to add things, and I don't add things to it. I don't add stuff to the left, to the right, above or below. I try to get it right in camera. So if you have a zoom lens there, try to shoot a little wider. We'll keep it in because I like that you made that choice with the selective color. And then, yeah.
Clock tower.
Hold on a second. Okay. So for that one, I really like that. And I don't know if you had to straighten it out in Lightroom or Photoshop, whatever you use afterwards. But I like that, or maybe it was just a long lens that you shot it with, because all the houses, the lines are kind of vertical where they need to be vertical, and kind of horizontal where they need to be horizontal. So that works out really well. When we shoot, when we photograph buildings, sometimes, depending on the lens that we use, if it's too wide of a lens, it gets distorted. The buildings look weird a little bit. But with long lenses, when we're further away, that doesn't happen so much. So this looks good. And I like that we have, the interest there of the 3 different buildings. We have that one roof, we have the building in the foreground, we have the church tower. I like that you didn't cut the top off. We see, it gets close to the top, but it's totally fine. We see the little weather vane on the very tippy top. And I like that you have the interest in the clouds, right? And you included a clock tower. And the clock itself, it's not obstructed by anything. So it's a really nice image, and we'll keep that one in.
Waiting for a fish.
Oh man, I want to go where you went. First you had that other bird, and now you have the pelican there too. And you don't have to go for it, just come to you. Uh, that one, I'm struggling with when I look down at the animal and the animal doesn't look at me, right? I always feel that when possible, we need to have that eye contact. And by that I mean that bird, yes, we see the eye, but the bird should look at us and not look down to have that connection made. And it helps many times when you have a little catch light in the eyeball. I don't know if you can get that with those pelicans, if they would show you that. But I'm struggling with that. Like he's looking down and kind of like not at us. So I don't have that connection. I like that you captured him and the shadow is included fully. I like that we have good exposure on the bird. I can see the feathers, I can see the detail. And I like that it's pretty clutter-free. There's not too many distractions in there. I would probably clean up in Photoshop those little spots that you see on the wood. Like there's one where the bird shadow is, and there's some to the left side that are wet. I would probably go over that because they take me away from the bird a little bit. I think technically it's a well done image. I just hoped that connection would be there more with the bird itself. But we keep it in because technically it's nicely done.
Who's riding who?
I like that little humor in there and that little, roadside curiosity or whatever you want to call it that you found in front of the Hard Times Cafe. And I wonder what the story is. So the image has good impact. It shows me something that makes me go, whoa, what is going on here? This is pretty cool. There's an old horse and an old truck in front of an old cafe somewhere. So for that, we'll keep it in. However, look at your buildings. You look at, straighten them out somehow. And maybe it was a snapshot. Maybe you just walked by there, drove by there, and you didn't look at your level in your camera. You didn't have your tripod with you, etc. But you can still straighten it out in post-processing. And if you need help with that, somebody in your club will help you to straighten out those buildings and the road with one click. We'll keep it in for the impact. It's a very curious image, but you can work on some of the technical issues.
Gearing up for a Super Bowl Sunday.
How did that Super Bowl go again? Oh, I don't pay much attention to it, but I guess the right team won, from what I understand. I'm struggling with that image. And I'll tell you why. I like that you wanted me to see like a celebratory image. You put those ribbons up, you hung up the football, the decorations, and you lit them up from above with the light, right? Now, when I look at the photograph, as a viewer of it, I wasn't there at your party, right? The only things I see is that light bulb. Like that draws my eyes to it, right? It's the bright light of that light bulb, especially the one on the right side that's like coming right at me. And that's all I see. So I want to look at the decorations. I want to look at what you are trying to show me. I want to look at what you thought I should see, which is the decorations and the ribbons and maybe the feeling that you had when you decorated and the party that you had. But all I'm seeing is that light bulb in front of me on the computer screen. And many judges will always tell you that your eye goes to the brightest spot in the image. And that's what it does here. So in the future, if you can maybe crop out some of that light and really hone in on decorations if you want me to see the decorations, like really make those the center of your image, make those the most important part of your image, so that I, as the judge, as the viewer, as your friend, can see it and don't get distracted by the light. We'll take that one out.
Gator Heaven.
I would like to see that gator close up. Kind of, I guess, I'm not in Florida. I went to Gatorland once, and I find those things fascinating, but I'm kind of happy that I live in New Jersey and where I don't have them. But I'm always like amazed by gator photos that are stunning and good and intriguing, and those dinosaur things. In that image, right, we have some issues here. We have that the gator is not sharp. Gator is kind of like blurry back there and far away. And while I love the shape of the gator, I mean, you got him all out of the water and he's sitting there diagonally going back into the water. We have a similar issue as the last image, where there's this overwhelming brightness on the lower left side with the water and that little piece of land that I'm looking at, and I'm not getting much of that gator. So again, I wish we would have a sharper image. We would be closer to the gator, and the light would be better. I think all those items worked against you. So we'll take it out for that reason.
Lazy Day on the River.
I like that you saw something interesting in that river, whatever river it is. Maybe it was the Delaware or another river with those cormorants on those floating barrels or buoys or whatever they are, rusting away. So there's a story in there, and I would like to say there's a story in there of that left one talking to the one on the right side. And it would help this story if that one on the right side cooperated more and looked back at the other one on the left side instead of looking out the frame. And I would like it if that orange thing wasn't there. It's kind of distracting, floating in the middle. Now I'm asking myself, how can we fix that? And the only thing that comes to mind is like, okay, next time you go out and you see that you have to wait another 20 minutes for that one bird on the right side to turn around and talk back to the other one. But that may not happen. And I wonder if we could have cropped it differently and focused in on just one bird. And if you have a long zoom lens, you could have zoomed in and gotten that bird sharper, and then tell a story just of one bird floating on a barrel. So I think for while there's potential here of an interaction with the birds, of that barrel that's rusting away and them sitting on top and floating in the river, I think the time of day hurts the image, being so contrasty in the water and being so bright, especially on the right one. And it's a little bit out of focus, a little low resolution, and maybe that happened because he cropped it a lot to get closer to those birds, right? So you lose some quality in the image, and there's those distractions in there. I want to like it. I want to like it more, but I think there's a lot that work against the image. We'll take that out.
Trees blooming in Stonebridge.
So I like that you didn't have to go far for that, and maybe this picture was like just taken now. Maybe it was from last season, but maybe it was like from this week or last week. And I like that, again, we have that leading line with the beautiful purple taking us into the distance there. And it's a very simple picture because it's just the median between the road, between each side of the road. And I like that you included a lot of those purple branches in the foreground. Now imagine without those purple branches, imagine you changed your position and not included them, then it would be an overwhelming amount of white sky, and it would make that picture more boring. But now I can explore it. Like now I can look at it. I'm like, oh man, look at that. Beautiful flowers everywhere. And I can see the detail. And it's really pretty that way. And here, in this case, the plain white sky, I think it works to your advantage. If you had a blue sky with clouds in it, it would look totally different. But here, you could even crop higher. You could even crop out all the bottom stuff and go higher and just have a picture that is like that pink, purple blossoms in the white sky, never totally different image. So there's a lot of potential here. You can crop it differently. You can rework it a little bit. So I like it. We'll keep that one in.
Walk this way.
It gives me a place or a sense of the place where you were when you took this picture. It looks like maybe a resort and the place where you have a meal or a picnic, and you can go for a walk there in a park. So for that, it gives me the nice sense of place. And I think for the beginner group, you handle it well because it's sharp from the foreground to the background. You included that fence as a leading line to take me up and to the left, and I can see people walking there. So it tells a story. I think it's well done in terms of the sharpness and the focus there and the exposure. We'll keep that one in.
Carriage ride in historic Savannah.
I think that one works to some point. I think when you took that photo, you imagine it to have a stronger impact. I imagined that you looked at the horses and you saw the beautiful street and you saw those trees overhanging the street, right? When you looked through your viewfinder. And now when I look at the completed image, I see that car on the right side, right? That's kind of like, is it a Range Rover, Land Rover, whatever it is? I'm looking at that silver thing. I'm also looking at your backpack that's sitting in there as well. And I think what you wanted to show me were the horses and the road going off into the distance with those trees. So I wonder if a different lens or a different composition or even a different crop, if you cropped out the carriage and the backpack, if you cropped out the right side with that car that's there, I wonder if you could have created a stronger image. I like the idea. I like that you tried to show me what you felt while you were on that carriage ride and give me a sense of the place. But I think because of those distractions, it does not work out as well, and I'm struggling with it. So we'll take that one out.
Best shade.
I like the circular feel of that beautiful palm tree. It's a beautiful palm tree. It looks amazing, and I kind of like that abstract feel. If I just look at the palm tree against the blue sky, it feels like something out of this world and something that we don't have in Jersey and totally new to me. I just wish that, and again, it may be a limitation of your camera gear. I just wish you had included more of it, not cut the end of those branches off, and maybe position yourself slightly differently to not get the background, to not get part of that roof that's in there. And maybe the next time you encounter a beautiful palm tree or any tree, try something different. Try walk up to the trunk maybe and shoot straight up from the trunk. Hold your camera up and shoot from the bottom up, and you have no distractions in there anymore because it's just the trunk that takes you up to the crown of the tree, and you get a totally different image. I like the subject. I just think we needed to include more of it, of the tree itself, and less of the background to have a stronger image. We'll take that one out.
I want one for the holidays.
I don't even want to think how much that thing costs. I kind of like the crop that you chose for that, right? To have the panoramic crop because it's such a long boat. And the only thing I would suggest on that image, I think it's a good image because it gives me an idea of what you saw there. It gives me an idea of the boat. I can see all the detail. What I would do is maybe, if you want to keep that crop, take a little off on the left side and add it to the right side of the image. Give that boat, like when we talk about animals, we'll give the animal, when it moves from one side of the image to the other, we give that animal some room to move through the frame, right? We don't put that animal right in the middle. If it moves from left to right, we put it further left to give it room on the right. And I would do the same with the boat. I would give it a little more room on the right side to have potentially room to move into. But that's me being a little more nitpicky. In post-processing, the only thing I would say, play with your contrast slider maybe a little bit, add a little more contrast, or use the dehaze slider in Lightroom if you never used it. Use it with caution and move it a little bit to the right to get more clarity in the image. But we'll keep it.
Okay, round 2, which will be 7, 8, and 9. Here we go. A fun photo from a cruise trip.
8.
Snowy egret.
Give it an 8.
Row houses in Old Alexandria.
Give it an 8.
The Navesink River behind Rumson's Barnacle Bill's restaurant.
Give it a 7.
Clock Tower.
Give it a 9.
Waiting for a fish.
Give it a 7.
Who's riding who?
Give it a 8.
Trees blooming in Stonebridge.
Give it a 9.
Walk this way.
Give it an 8.
Oh, I want one for the holidays.
Give it a 9.
Okay. Okay, what we have here is 3, so what we're going to do is a first, second, and third place.
Oh, third place goes to the boat.
Okay, I'll put that as a 6.
Second place goes to the tree. Please.
7. And this would be the
First place.
8. Okay, so open B, third place. I want one for the holidays. Me, thank you. Oh, second place. Trees blooming in Stonebridge. Judy, hey. Really nice. And first place, Harvey Josephine. Harvey, I gotta let him, he's not here. I gotta let him know. Really nice. Beautiful. Okay.
I like the composition on that. Like he did, he looked at it for a while. I can imagine like walking around on the street left and right and just to get it right.
Yeah. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do open A where there's 26 photos.
I can go a little quick in that group.
Okay. Open A, the clock in the window.
I think it's really creative what you've done here. I don't know how much was done in post-processing and how much was done in camera. But it creates an intriguing image that I can find myself lost in and wandering around a little bit to explore the different things. So we'll keep it in.
Zodiac Tour.
I like the story that you tell here. Like, I don't know if the treatment that you gave the image was on purpose to make it like an old-timey feel, turning it black and white, and having this ancient glacier melting and coming down towards that lagoon or whatever it was. I think it suffers a little bit from softness, especially in the black, dark areas of the rock. But I like the story that it tells. I feel like it's an intriguing image that way, and I like all the details that you have in the glacier still. We'll keep it in.
Patriot face.
Again, it's a very cute story, and I think for shooting portraits of family members, grandchildren, in a way, and having these candid shots, I think it's really nicely done. You have that catchlight in the eye. You probably used a flash on that, and technically, it's a really nice image. I'm a little distracted by the background. I have to say, I don't know what that brownish looking thing is to the left of the frame. Something to keep in mind when you shoot people in portraits in the future. Maybe keep them closer to the camera and have that background really soft, blurry, out of focus, and keep that in mind. But the portrait itself is really nicely done. We'll keep it in.
Red shoulder hawk.
Man, you got close to that one. It's a beautiful hawk too. Well done. I like how the tree is that leading line, kind of like coming in, adding to a sense of place and moment in time where that hawk is sitting on that branch. And here is just this beautiful muted background with the muted greens, so that the hawk and the red, the sharpness of the eye and that highlight and that yellow beak really stands out even more. Well done. We'll keep that one in.
Gerara flower sunlight.
That must have been an amazing photo to begin with, and then you turned it into this piece of art, doing what you love to do with your images. And I feel it worked out really well. I can see that being framed and hanging in somebody's living room. It's nicely done. We'll keep that in.
Florida fern.
That's really pretty, and it took me a while to figure out why the fern is lit up. I'm like, is it lit up because of some sunshine? Is it growing out of the ground? But then I see it's like kind of like submerged in water there. Looks like there was a little flood and maybe the fern is growing out of it. So the light on it is beautiful, and I think that the background, even when I see those details, it adds to the story, it adds to the interest, it adds to the life in the forest, kind of. I like that image quite a bit. Reminds me of things that I see when I hop them down out in South Jersey for the Pinelands Preservation Alliance and their photo contest when they run it again next year. I'll look forward to that because there's some amazing nature photos out there, and I like the contrast between the new fern and that interesting background. We'll keep it in.
Colored coordinated.
So for a candid shot, it's really it's really nicely done and nicely seen. I don't want to accuse you of having a small Porsche or whatever the yellow one is, and a Range Rover or some sort of Jeep, and that color and parking them like that. It's a cute shot. It has impact, right? It intrigues me. I even like the yellow line that's there on the ground. It's there for the car. I don't know if you had to do something like that in post-processing, or it was painted on the street and was yellow. It's an interesting image. Technically, maybe not the best, but has the impact. It has that like, oh wow, look at that aha moment. So we'll keep it in for that.
Chilean dancers.
what I like about this image and what first stood out when it came up was her. What was her? She's in focus. She's pretty sharp. Even though her feet are moving, right? Her feet are moving, but the upper body, her head, and her arms, and her handkerchief is all in focus. And I like looking at her. I even like looking at the person to her right with the sunglasses because as a spectator, she's like intrigued by it and watching. Now, what I'm struggling with is him. Yes, he adds to the story, he adds to the dance, but because we cannot see his face and because he is not in focus, I don't see anything in focus. The hat is a little soft. The blanket that he wears a little soft. His legs are a little soft. Like everything is moving too fast. Now, I'm wondering like how could we fix that, right? We could probably minimize him a little bit. Like maybe we don't need all of him. And then on the right side, I see a blue sneaker coming into the image, and maybe we can get rid of that to have a stronger image. And I see on the left side, I see like the painting on the side there of the restaurant's name in white on black. So all of things take me away from her, which is the main interest. And you can fix that in Photoshop a little bit. I still like the story that it tells. So we keep it in, but even though I'm distracted by some of the things.
Covered Bridge, Lucerne.
Hey, I was there in October. Were you there in October? The City of Lights in Lucerne, if you haven't been, it's really, really nice. And I tell you some good chocolate stores if you want to know them, where to go. I like what you're trying to do here with the painterly look, and it works really well for the bridge. I like the flower baskets. I like the roof that's on the covered bridge. I even like the sunset a little bit. Yeah, the only place you're losing me, and that's probably part of the processing there, and you got to be careful with that. In general, like whenever you have an image and you shoot maybe in HDR or you don't have the colors that you want to get or the exposure that you want to get, the tonality, and you push those sliders a little bit too much, you get these halos, and other judges I'm sure talked about these little bright areas around buildings or mountains or trees. And when you look at the water tower itself, right? So the bridge works, the flowers work, but when you look at the water tower itself and you go up on the roof to the triangle, you see that blue right there by the roof is getting lighter. And by the water tower left and right side, the orange is brighter. And all I can say is there's two things I can say. There's ways to minimize that. There's some tutorials online you can follow, and I haven't done that much yet. Or you just have to be more careful with your sliders to avoid that, because it looks a little fake. That takes me away from the overall image. Like if that water tower would be better processed, where the blues are just blue like the sky and the oranges are oranges like the rest of the sky, it would be a stronger image. So look for that. But overall, I like it. We'll keep it in for that.
Wobbler at rest.
So somebody really has a nice long lens there for the bird photography. It's a beautiful little warbler that came down on the ground, and maybe it's not even your backyard. Maybe you went on eBird or you went out with other birders. Maybe you were on a blind, and those little guys came up close enough for you to capture them as sharp as they are with that catch light in the eye and your eye level with them. So that looks good. And I don't even mind the messiness of the background and the foreground because it tells me that's like part of their environment, right? We'll keep that one in. Nice warbler.
Hydrangea love.
Another like very artsy flower picture. And I really like the treatment that you give it, like even with the modified background that you have in there, it adds that beautiful texture and those complementary colors to your whole image. Well done. We'll keep that one in.
lily pads.
I'm always amazed by lily pad photos that that turn out just fantastic, where that lily pad is isolated and the flower looks beautiful. And then I go out in nature sometimes and I look at those lily pads. I'm like, there's nothing isolated here. They're all over the place, and there's a lot of stuff around. And I don't know how you guys do that. What I like about this image is that you captured that magical number of 3 lily pads or 3 pads of some sort. You have a multi, those odd numbers really work well. 3 works really well. So you have that in here. What hurts the image, I don't think the image is hurt so much by the lily pad that has holes in it, or it's kind of like not as pretty and perfect, because that's what's nature, and that doesn't bother me. But it's the harsh light a little bit, right? You have those long shadows coming down that are really dark on that green petal, and a softer side light would probably have helped a little bit. But I'll applaud you for shooting lily pads, because they're not easy. They're not easy to isolate and do it that way. And I like that you have 3 that are different, even though the light wasn't great. We'll keep that one in.
Thirsty?
I am now. I could use some water. The San Pellegrino bottles. Again, you created something, and I don't know what filters you use, or if it's a multi-step process to get to this cartoonish looking image that I could find in like a cartoon show in a comic book or something, that has an image of the shelf with San Pellegrino and this very interesting ceiling in there. I think it's well done. I also like that again, you have, yeah, you can say it's not an odd number. You can say, oh no, there's like 4 bottles in the foreground, but the 3 bottles are together, right? 1, 2, 3 bottles on the left side that clump together. So I take it as an odd number of San Pellegrino bottles. I look at those 3, and then look on the top, and it looks like we have like 3 columns at the ceiling, whatever wooden panels they are. And that kind of complements it. And we have that green and orange color, which kind of like work really well together. So well done. We'll keep it in.
Patagonia sunrise.
Did somebody say they went to Patagonia earlier? I wonder if that's the same maker. It reminded me of the Grand Teton sunrise, this beautiful alpine glow that you get on those mountains. And I like that you have those beautiful clouds in there. It was a beautiful moment you captured there. The only thing I would try to work on, and maybe watch some YouTube videos, is on the foreground. I know in real life it was too early in the morning, it looked pretty dark, but if you could brighten those bushes a little bit to give us some detail in there, because right now my screen, they look kind of like just kind of dark, and I don't see any details in there. So work on that, or ask yourself, like, could I crop it differently and just show you more of the mountains and less of the foreground in a different way. Maybe use one of those widescreen 16:9 crops. There's many ways you can go with this image, but it's a beautiful moment, well seen. We'll keep it in.
Songbird.
It's a really, really nice image of a theatrical performance. I assume you shot it during the performance. I assume it was not staged. I assume there was not a friend of yours who just held the umbrella really quietly for you while you took that photo. I assume it was in a show. And for that, it's like really nicely done, because when you go to a theater, those images are not that easy to take with the low light and making sure everything gets in focus. And then you have that beautiful, curtain in the back that's kind of like a little blurry, getting softer, which helps me to focus on the person itself. So well done. We'll keep it in.
Frozen waterway.
I like the feeling of that image. Probably many of us would pass by that scene in the winter and not stop. But I like that you have the reflections. It was kind of a calm day. I like that half of the river was frozen while the other half was not frozen, right? We see reflections on the left that we don't see on the right because of the ice. And I like that we have that little curve in there. And that overall bright sky kind of gives it a dreamy feeling. Now, the one thing that stands out to me that I would definitely go with a brush and click to fix it. If you go on the left side, like 1/5 in from the left, about halfway up, there's like a darker spot in there. And I don't know what that is. Maybe a leaf, maybe it was a stick sticking out of the water or something that's just a little dark on the left side in the middle of the water. And I would get rid of that. But it's nice. We'll keep it in.
Snow on the mountain high.
I like the treatment or I like the way you composed it, and I like the background that you chose for it, because that dark background with that little bit of texture, and it really emphasizes that white and green flower that you shot there. I don't think I've ever seen flowers like that before. And it looks like you only had 3 there, like 3 little clusters, but maybe there were many more and you arranged them so it looks like there's 3. It's intriguing. It's striking. We'll keep that in.
Air plant.
That's an interesting plant on a tree. I don't know where you went to get that one, if it's Florida or down south in Louisiana or somewhere. The light is really nice because it highlights all those strange leaves that curl left and right and around and make those very interesting patterns on the plant, right? And I like that you included a tree on the right side. Now, what I'm struggling with a little bit is the tree on the left side, because it's kind of distracting. And I know it's probably not easy, seeing there's so much water in there for you to get out of the boat you were in maybe and reposition yourself to eliminate that tree that's on the left side. But in post-processing, see if there would be a way to tone it down further. In Lightroom, they added that blurring of the background tool. I forgot what it's called exactly. And that works really well. That tree on the left is already pretty blurry. But maybe with that slide and that tool, you could make it even more out of focus, and then it would not be as obvious. But that's the only thing I would say about this image, that the left tree is really interfering with that plant a bit. But we'll keep it in. Great find and was wonderful light.
Silent night.
I like that one. I like that you found something simple just by looking out your door or your window there, whatever you saw, and maybe that street light lit up that tree during the snowfall. Technically, it's maybe not the greatest image shooting through the glass. It looks a little soft. Maybe a little bit of green in the roof across the street there that is snow covered from the light. It looks a little unnatural maybe, but there's artificial light out there. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is that you have something striking that has an impact, that shows me something that, again, we may overlook. We may not even notice it. And it goes on all the time. And snow fell and you have this strange light out there, and you just captured it through your window. But we'll keep it in.
Street in Valparaiso, Chile.
So this is interesting, and I'm glad that the maker chose black and white. Whenever you have something with textures and repetitive patterns, I feel that black and white is a great option, because now we focus even more those cobblestones and on those markings in the sidewalk. And for that one, I don't even need an interest that's off in the distance, because I'm just loving to look at these different patterns and these different rows and exploring them a little bit. We keep it in.
Waiting for you.
I like that you're trying to show me something here that we may overlook, that you saw walking the streets. Maybe you noticed that and like, hey, I'm going to take a picture of this lady looking out the window. Maybe a little in deep thought, or maybe a little sad. And maybe you like those blinds and you like the old-fashioned window. Now, I would say, you captured the story there, but I would say we need a little more on the left side included in that image. And I don't know if there was another window on the left that would distract. But if not, I would give it a little bit more room, because right now she's just looking, and I don't know where she's looking at or what she's looking at. Yes, and I cannot say she's looking into the distance because we don't have much distance there. She's looking to the left, but I would like to see more. Unless she's looking at you, and then you would have an eye contact and maybe a different story altogether. But we keep it in. I think it's an interesting window and an interesting story that you tell. And I don't know, again, if you could have included more to the left or not.
Rose Meadow.
For this one, and I don't know if it's the same maker who does all the other flowers. But I feel for this one, I would like to see more. I would like to see, like, I feel like the petals were cut off, and I wanted to see more of the stem. And maybe you cropped it this way because you like it better this way. But I feel like a part of the image is missing. And I also struggle with that bright area in the top in the middle, where that green color got a bit brighter, because now I'm jumping to that bright spot that's on the top in the middle with the brighter greens. I wish there would be more of the flower, and there would be not that bright spot there, to keep my interest more on the center, on the flower. We'll take that one out.
Dining al fresco.
I like the feel of the place. I like that you saw something in this Italian, Spanish, Portuguese town, wherever it was, that caught your interest. And maybe it was the sign and the waitress and the people ordering the food there and having that nice lamp and that overhang, right? And while I can see that being there, that is all intriguing, and you get caught up in the moment, as an image, I have a hard time finding the focus. Like, what is it that you want me to look at? Because now I'm looking at the whole scene, but then I'm wondering, do I need that light on the top lamp? Because I keep going to the big lamp, and I'm asking myself, why do you have it in there? Do you want me to see it, or was it impossible to take it out and crop it? Or could you have cropped differently? I'm sorry if my hand is over the camera when I do that. I'm just trying to figure it out. And I wonder if you could have gotten rid of the top third of the image and telling me a stronger story there of the people eating out. But as is, it seems very busy, and I don't get drawn in enough by the story you're trying to tell me through your image there. We'll take that one out.
Waiting.
Well, we have those shopping carts here where you have to put a coin in to dislocate them. Maybe that's what those things are that are hanging down, or maybe it's just a strap in for the kids. I cannot tell. I like it usually when there's repetitive subjects that you find when you create an abstract image. I'm just not feeling that this one is strong enough Yes, we have those repetitive images, but yeah, the purple on the left side is taking me away from that. Whatever's on the bottom was the brown floor is taking me away from that, and I wonder if a tighter crop would have helped with a different angle to have a stronger image. We'll take that one out.
Rose bokeh.
I like that you have that bokeh or bokeh in there, however it's pronounced. I don't know. And we have those little, those little beautiful circles in the background that create that dreamy look to the overall image. And I like that we have the whole flower in there. Again, I don't know if it was the same maker of the image from a few ago or not, that I didn't keep in. But here we have the whole flower, which is really nice. We'll keep that one in.
Late day shadow.
I find the shadow kind of interesting on the wood. And I think by itself it would be fine. I think it would have been fine to crop out the top right of the actual flower and maybe fix up the bottom left, that little bright spot there, to create a stronger image. But I think it's well seen. It's like, again, something that may go totally unnoticed, but you picked up your camera and took that photo. So we'll keep that one in.
Okay. Round 2. Open A. The clock in the window.
Give it an 8,
Zodiac tour.
7,
Patriot face.
7,
Red shoulder hawk.
give it a 9,
Gerera flower sunlight.
give it a 9,
Florida fern.
give it a 9,
Color coordinated.
give it a 7,
Chilean dancers.
give it an 8,
Covered bridge lucerne.
give it an 8,
Warbler at rest.
give it a 9,
Hydrangea love.
give it a 9,
Lily pads.
give it a 7,
Thirsty.
give it a 9,
Patagonia sunrise.
give it an 8,
Songbird.
9,
Frozen waterway.
give it a 9,
Snow on the mountain high.
9,
Air plant.
give it a 7,
Silent night.
give it an 8,
Street in Valparaiso, Chile.
give it a 9,
Waiting for you.
give it a 7,
Rose bokeh.
an 8,
Late day shadow.
give it an 8.
Okay, well, we have 10 with 9s. So we're going to do a first, second, third, and the rest will be honorable mention.
All right. So you'll be happy to know that one will go to a bird, one will go to a plant, and one will go to something else.
Sounds good.
So third place will do the San Pellegrino bottles.
Okay.
So second place, we take that hydrangea to the left of that.
This one?
Nope, nope. 3 to the right. That one, hydrangea love.
Okay.
And first place is the red shoulder hawk or red tail hawk. Red shoulder hawk.
All right. Excellent. Open A, we have quite a few honorable mentions. General Flower Sunlight, Dave, excellent. Florida Fern, Dan, once again, marvelous. Warbler at Rest, Mario, wow, that's songbird. Songbird, Richie, really cute. Frozen Waterway, Mario, again, beautiful. Snow on the Mountain High, Dave, wow. Street in Valapcruz, Chile, Sandy, excellent. Third place. Thirsty, Bobby, wow. Second place, Hydrangea Love, Dave, wow, that's some job. And first place, Red Shoulder Hawk, Mario, that is a terrific, excellent. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Storm B. There are only 5. So do you want to do an in and out and then do a 5, 6, 7, or what?
No, we'll do all 5 with one swoop.
What's that?
No, we don't have to do in and out. We can just do the 5. It's only 5.
6, 7, 8, 7, 8, and 9 then?
Yeah, I'll do 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, okay.
There's only one first place mark, right?
That's correct, Mario. You missed it when we went over it. Late to the show. Okay. Storm photos B. Savannah in the rain.
I like the feel of the picture. Like I can see the road is wet. So I like that intersection. It's very colorful. We got the red light, we got the traffic moving, yellow car, green trees, street sign included. In terms of the theme, it's more about a wet road and the traffic there, and maybe a little less about the storm, but it's fine. You know, I know there was probably a good downpour before that, otherwise it wouldn't be so wet. So it's fine. But I like the feel of it. I think it's really well seen and captured. Still not 100% sold on the theme itself, but it will work. So we'll give it an 8.
Storm photo 2.
So I guess you were on the shoulder, but you stayed in the car because we got the rain droplets on the windshield there, right? And you know, I kind of like that you have that road and the curve included. It's always like good to look for, and especially in the beginner group, like you look for an interesting composition, right? And in the software, when you process things, you know, go to, like I say, go to YouTube, find a video that says, how do I photograph storm clouds? Or how do I process storm clouds? Because the sky that you had there, all those dark clouds in there, we could bring out so much more of the darkness and the brightness and make them look way more threatening than they were probably. So keep that in mind. But what I would do, right? I would worry about the rain droplets on my windshield, and go out the next time, or clean the camera. Maybe to warn your camera out the windshield. But we'll give it a 7.
Storm conditions.
Yeah. What did I just came back from Iceland, right? And we had on the last day we went behind that big waterfall where you can walk behind it, that Seljanderfoss, whatever it's called, a couple hours from Reykjavik. And I didn't go this time because I didn't feel like getting all my stuff wet. There were so many people there. But the one person on my tour who went behind it, she said, it was just like the Maiden of the Mist. It felt like being at Niagara Falls again. We got drenched in those ponchos that some of the people had on, the tourists, those cheap ones. They didn't do anything. It was just like so wet. And I can feel the wetness here, right? I can feel that you get drenched by the Niagara Falls. Now again, you're for the stormy conditions, right? The sky looks pretty blue up there, but the people got wet from the waterfall. So is it stormy? It feels stormy on the boat for sure, but was it the stormy weather? Maybe not. But it's the beginner group, so I'm cool with that, right? We can overlook that a little bit. It's a nice family photo. It's a nice candid photo of people wearing the ponchos and getting soaked like you would in a rainstorm. But I feel that's where it ends for the competition. It's not a strong impact photo. It's not as good as it could be with the rain droplets and the softness. So we'll give it a 7.
Storm coming.
Now that's kind of like interesting how you process that, right? And that's what I meant when I talked about that second image. Like you can do stuff with sliders in Photoshop and Lightroom to make clouds more dramatic. And I'm sure the clouds in this picture were really dramatic, and you just brought out a lot more when you processed it. I like the overall feeling of that image. In the clouds itself, you can see a little bit of pixelation when you look up there, and maybe because of the nature of the Zoom call, or maybe a little overprocessed. So you want to look at the image on your screen at home. And sometimes noise reduction can help with that a little bit. You can play around with it. Maybe you push some sliders too much if it's pixelated on your screen at home. But it has that overall feel, right? I like that clear sky in the distance and just those rolling clouds coming by. It gives me a good sense of what it must have been like there on the beach. We'll give it a 9.
Storm photo 1.
And hold on. I'll do this one. Okay. That's the right side. It's the after the storm photo, right? I like that you have that row of whatever burlapped trees in there that you found a row that you photographed. And you can get more creative when you encounter something like that and then play around with it with different angles, a little higher, a little lower, closer to the ground, different ways. But I think it was nicely seen by you. And there was that after the storm scene that you saw after the snowstorm. We'll give it an 8.
Okay, well, we have a winner here, so that's easy. Storm B, first place. Storm's coming. Harvey Josephine. He's not here today, but we'll let him know. Okay, now for the last contest. Photo Storm B. Storm A, I'm sorry. Stormy night.
It tells a nice story of that poor flower being drenched by the rain. And I assume because of the way the light is hitting the flower in the storm, that it's a composite of some sort that you created there. And but I like the idea. I like what you created here. I think the flower, the petal closest to me, is a little soft. There, those rain droplets look a little soft and out of focus. So that hurts the image a little bit overall. But very creative, what you've done here. We keep it in.
Storm about 2 minutes out.
Now, I like that street scene. I like that feel. I like that yellow line taking me off into the distance to, a person that is wearing a bright red shirt. So that creates that little bit of focal point. It takes me right to him. And then I look up and see that those beautiful clouds or mist hanging in the trees or something coming in or maybe leaving. Either way, it's a nicely well-seen moment in time that you captured there. We'll keep it in.
Timeless winter.
I like the sepia treatment that you gave it, and yeah, I guess you wanted it to be like an old-timey photo. We have that beautiful bench in there, maybe Central Park. We have a beautiful light post in there that adds to the feel of the place and the time. And I like that we have that strong foreground element with the snow on it, right? So it kind of like gives me my starting point, and I have the tree there, and I have all these different layers: the foreground, the tree, the bench, the light post in the distance, and then just disappearing into the snowy background. We keep that one in.
Storm brewing in Mendocino.
I like the light in this image, right? I can see the trees casting the shadow, and there's really bright light on the road, maybe that last little bit of sunshine coming through the clouds there. Have that road going off into the distance, and then there's a storm coming, so it tells me that story. And I like, again, the conversion to black and white when you want me to focus on more texture. And here the sky is what, like 80%, 75% of the image, and you wanted me to see that darkness and a little bit of sun and the brightness coming through. We'll keep it in.
Snowfall on a tree-lined road.
It's an interesting image with those big snowflakes coming down, and yeah, maybe some of them actually landed on your lens and created those bigger blotches, but that kind of creates that feel that it was really, really coming down as an early snowstorm in the fall. And we'll keep it in.
Storm coming.
I'm struggling with this one a little bit. I like those trees in there. I like the tree line up and down on the mountain a little bit. I like those trees in the background. But I'm questioning the the storm coming in, like with those low-hanging clouds. It looks to me almost like it's from a fire. It's like smoke from a fire, and maybe not a storm coming on. It's just some fog that's still hanging out there. And I mean, we'll keep it in. I mean, if you tell me the storm is coming, the storm is coming. But I don't get the sense of it. I get the sense that this may be a wildfire instead, with smoke everywhere on those mountainside. But we'll keep it in. That's still intriguing with the tree line.
Rainy.
That's an interesting image, and I wonder what kind of glass it is. It's a glassy surface, right? With something behind it, something etched into it. I have no idea what it is, but I like the texture. I like the water droplets and the lines that come down, and I love the light that shines through that translucent object there. And I don't need to know exactly what it is. Right on top, I see maybe a rivet and maybe some leather strap, but then I don't know what all the other stuff is that I see. I'd be curious to find out at the end today. But my focus is really the water, and I like that. Again, not knowing what it is, I struggle with the storm topic, because maybe it was just something in the shower, or you dropping water on a translucent object. So I don't know that. But I feel it's a strong image, nevertheless. Hope we keep it in.
Storms are brewing.
So similar to the earlier group, like you brought out a lot of details in the clouds that existed up there, and the composition is really nice, right? Composition is really nice with that curved line, and the housing development, the dunes in there. We'll keep that one in as well.
Contemplation.
I like that you have this very muted image in terms of colors with only that red umbrella. Adds interest. It draws me to that person standing there. And it's like a weather picture, right? A little bit of snowfall there. I don't know if it's much of a storm. Maybe the snowfall is winding down. But we know that it snowed a bit. There was a storm that passed through. It's a good image. We'll keep that one in too.
Storms are brewing in Silverthorne.
Now here, you brought out the details in the cloud and stuff like that, but the image does suffer from what I talked earlier about with the halo. And if you look in the mountain in the distance there, you have that white line going up and down the mountains, quite a bit on the right side. And if you look at that green tree in the foreground, you have a lot of brightness just around the green between the leaves and stuff like that. And it's really hard to get rid of that. So best to avoid, pushing those sliders a little bit too much to get out the details in the clouds, because sometimes it adversely affects your foreground and other elements in the picture. We'll take that one out.
Late night walk in the rain.
But that person is all bundled up, so it tells me it's really not good outside. And I'm really liking those long reflections of those street lights. They're so beautiful that they're reflecting in the ground, and those reflections are different depending on what's on the street. Like it looks like there's some plates that put in, and some areas are wetter than others. So I like that. And to me, it complements the person with the jacket too, with like the same kind of like tonality with the oranges and the person with a yellow jacket. And we have 3 street lights, 1, 2, 3. Again, you made use of that odd number there. Maybe I wish the garbage can on the right side wouldn't be so prevalent in the image, and you can tone that down. Very easy to do to darken it a little bit. But overall, I think it's a really nicely composed and seen image of a person walking home in the storm. Keep it in.
Snow.
It's a nice, simple image, huh? There's not much needed, not too many distractions there. Tells the story of, hey, snow's coming down. I'm an evergreen. I'm getting covered in snow. Well, the only thing I worry about all the time when you have a picture like that is the bottom there. Like this one goes out. Is it much longer? Was it too long that you didn't want to include it? Did you crop it that way? Was it in your original image? Could you have included it? Could you have found a different branch that maybe doesn't have that long one that goes out of the image? But no, it tells a nice story. It's well seen, and it's well executed otherwise. I'll keep it in.
Swinging in the rain.
I kind of like the story that it tells. You can see the rain coming down, the umbrellas up, people are hanging out, and she's looking at him. Now, to have a stronger story, right? It would be nice if he looked at her at the same time for the image to have a stronger story, or to have more eye contact with the people in general, so they're not facing away from us, and they're kind of diagonally angled to leave the frame. They kind of like look out to the left a little bit. So think about that. But we'll keep it in because it's different and it tells a story, and I'm glad that she's looking at him. Keep it in.
Driving rain.
I was wondering if we had one of those images in there, because they're always very popular, driving through the rain with the windshield, looking out and guessing what is that outside my window. Here we can tell it's just like a little bit of snow on the ground, a little bit of slush, and maybe an evergreen tree, Christmas tree farm, where you parked or you're driving by it. So it tells the story there, and it fits the theme. It's maybe not the strongest image for like what you try to do here. If you have, and you've seen it before, because this club, I'm sure, had these images before, and some of them are really strong. When you have a wet windshield, right, and you're driving, let's say, in New York City, or through a tunnel going into New York City, and the windshield is wet, and you get all these crazy lights and colors, and it becomes really abstract. That oftentimes makes a much stronger image. Here it's just a wet window, and I can still clearly see what is outside. So yes, keep that in mind. So for that, we'll take it out because it doesn't have that strong impact.
All right. Round 2. Storm photos A. Stormy night.
Give it an 8.
Storm about 2 minutes out.
Give it a 9.
Timeless winter.
Give it a 9.
Storm brewing in Mendocino.
Give it an 8.
Snowfall on a tree-lined road.
Give it an 8.
Storm coming.
Give it an 8. But I believe it was a storm coming.
Rainy.
I'll give it a 9.
Storms are brewing.
Give it an 8.
Contemplation.
Give it an 8.
Oh, what happened here? Hold on a second.
Give it an 888. I'll give
I'm
it a
trying to
9.
get, I'm trying
This
to
one gets
fix
a
it.
9.
I'm trying to fix it. Give me a second.
That's the highest scoring image you have.
Give me a second.
888. There's a lot of
Yeah.
9s added.
There we go.
Now this one's a 9. Yeah, I confused you. Go back.
Go back.
Yeah, that was a 9. I confused you talking about those 8s.
All right.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Snow.
I give it an 8.
Swinging in the rain.
Give it a 7.
Okay. We're going to have first, second, third, and the other one will be a honorable mention.
Well, that one is the honorable mention.
This one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And now it gets difficult. Well, now I gotta be a little nitpicky, right? So I really like that image on the right, but I complained about the garbage can. So that's got to be third place then.
It's got to be third.
Yeah.
All right.
Then with the other two, I feel that that one has to be second place because to
This
me, it's not as evidence that this has to do as strong with weather. It's a beautiful image and very intriguing. And somebody, I think, wrote in there was a palm tree, but I still don't understand.
Okay.
But it's very intriguing. I'm drawn to it. But this one is number 1.
Okay. All right.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock. You wanted me to be done by 9. Look at me.
You're an excellent job. I
Good
was
thing you didn't have more pictures in there, otherwise I would be over.
I was thinking about that. Okay. Review contest. Storm photos. A, honorable mention. Storm about 2 minutes out. Rich, excellent job. Very nice. Third place, late night walk in the rain. Mario, once again.
Now you go over and take the garbage bag out.
Yeah.
It was shiny.
Second place, Bobby. Beautiful, Bobby. And first place, Art. Once again, fantastic job. Okay, we go here. Here. Hold on. Stop sharing. It's been a while. And we're back again.
When are you guys in the gallery in Cranberry? So I can come to the opening. Do you have those dates?
June, it's the month of June. I don't
It's in
know.
June?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll find the opening on the township calendar.
Yeah.
Cool. You're bringing good food for the opening. I'll come over. There's some good
No.
good cupcakes and cookies, right?
I have to start planning it. With the thought process was there a long time ago. Now it has to be an action process.
There will be some special treats from Patagonia there too.
I don't know.
No.
Even looked at the photos yet. Uh,
I live like a 4-minute walk from there.
oh, nice town.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
Robert,
Well,
as always, you did a wonderful job and
Thank
you
you.
kept your reputation alive with your
Sure
good
did.
scoring.
Yes.
Did I give you anything today, Rich?
You
Did I give
did.
you-
You
Good,
gave me
good.
two. Thank
Oh,
you.
good. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, does anybody have any questions? I'm sure there's a few.
Uh-oh.
Just
No,
jump up.
good feedback. It was good
Thank you.
feedback.
I took good
Yeah.
notes, Robert. Thank you.
I hope it helps, especially the beginners, right?
Yeah.
In your group. I hope they take something away from it. And I know you're close-knit group and you have the beautiful clubhouse. And please, as a beginner, if you need any help
Yeah.
about editing and stuff like that, reach out to your club members. They can show
Yeah.
you stuff.
We're always willing to help.
Hey, Rich,
I-
Yeah.
Robert, this is not a question for you, but there was that photo. I know you liked it, and you gave it an award. It was the woman with the umbrella. Looks like she was on a stage, singer.
Yeah.
That was you,
Yes.
right, Rich? I'm
Yes.
just curious. The lighting on it was terrific.
Yeah.
Was that a shot you took of somebody on a stage, or was the shot of somebody who was like modeling?
No, that was on the stage during the show. During the shows that they put on in the clubhouse, I do photography, and I got to tell you, I got very, very lucky with that one. That the light was on her just right.
No flash.
No flash. No, but I could show you loads and loads of pictures that I took, and they're all about the same. They're okay, but there's nothing as dynamic as that one was.
Yeah,
Well,
that
there
was-
was one other show where I got it happened to be another lady singing that was almost as good as that one. But by and large, they're all just general decent pictures, but nothing great. That was one that I was really happy with. And I
Yeah.
didn't have to do much with that one.
What show was that?
Very good.
That one was that's a good question. I'll tell you in a sec.
That's all right.
Robert,
Yeah.
while Rich is looking that up, I do have a question for you because of your general knowledge with, I think you do landscape and wildlife. Trying to take shots of like beach scenes, sunrises and stuff. Have difficulty with getting the focus, foreground all the way to infinity. And I know the normal technique is to try to focus probably about 1/3 of the way.
Mhm.
Do you have any suggestions on that? Because especially early in the morning, you don't have as much light. Any suggestions on how to get it, sharp from front to, to the sunrise?
Yeah, with the last few years, we made so much progress with the noise reduction in Lightroom or with denoise. And I'm not as afraid as I was to shoot at a high ISO. So if I can step it down for low light handheld scenes where I want the foreground to background sharp, I'm not too shy to step it down to f16 or f18 in that neighborhood, right? And I try to oftentimes then avoid something really close. And then maybe like if it's a little further out, like if my closest focus a little further out, I can shoot at f11 and that will be enough to get everything sharp. And then I just worry about the handheld shutter speed. And I would shoot at like maybe high continuous shooting. I've done that in Iceland. We were just in Iceland, and I don't know who's been there. In a week, we have the sea stacks out in the ocean,
Mm.
and we have those sneaker waves, those big giant waves coming in. And we were driving up, and it was getting late afternoon, and it was so windy. We were far away, and I just ran out. The light was good, handheld at 200 millimeters. And I just had it on continuous fast shooting, right? I braced myself as much as I can. And at 200 millimeters, maybe I shot at 1/300th of a second image stabilizer on and just get like shooting. And then, yeah, that worked out. But
And you were happy.
tomorrow morning I go over to South Amboy to shoot a Great West Lighthouse for sunrise with the sun behind it. I use Planet Pro to plan, shoots like that sometimes. And tomorrow's the only clear day until Sunday. And I'll bring my tripod and make sure everything is sharp and tightened. And yeah, this way I can get a sharp image with my tripod and my remote control, and that helps too.
What about
you know-
what about focus stacking? Have you ever used focus stacking?
I did focus stacking over at Manasquan Reservoir this last winter. They drained the reservoir.
Ooh.
I heard they had to do some dredging because boats
Oh.
couldn't get launched anymore. And I went to that area that had all those dead trees, right? And I could walk around all those dead trees. So I practiced focus stacking. I'm finding a wide angle lens. I had one tree in front of me,
Mm.
and then I focus on that, and then a few feet forward, and then off into the distance I go. And that has gotten so easy now in Lightroom and Photoshop too. Where it's just like one click and say, hey, I got these focus stack images. Can you line them up for me?
Yes.
Right? And click the button and like, oh, that looks good. We're good.
Did you use a tripod?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Always.
I bought a new tripod for my trip, but it didn't come out of it bad.
Oh, no. But you get more creative this way. You're faster moving around. Like we get bogged down with our one image with the tripod, and then sunrise is over, and you took like 20 different angles. So
Yeah.
I can't stand tripods.
No, I have a collection of tripods. This one doesn't work, I'll take the next one and then I keep it. There was no time to use it.
Not for me. No.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you. It was very good.
Well,
Okay.
thank you, everybody.
As always, thank you, Robert. Always.
I hope to see
Mario.
all of you in June in Cranberry.
Yeah.